Hi, and welcome to Positivity with Marianne. Today, it's in my big green Yeti because I'm freezing. I can't seem to warm up since I've been home. I guess that's what happens when you travel. It's just very damp today, so it is what it is. I'm happy to be home, and I was kind of busy this weekend doing a bunch of things, so I didn't do one of these last Sunday. But I've been home, and I did want to share one little strategy, I guess, not so much a positivity, but in reality it is, that I had on the way home. On the whole, the trip was, I would say, very successful on a lot of levels because for me, it got me out of my comfort zone, which, staying in my house for a year and seeing very minimal people. This went from 2 weeks after getting my vaccine to I'm on a plane. And for the most part, I thought people were pretty great. And I came home, I took a COVID test, and I'm good. So yeah, I'm beginning to feel that, okay, we're starting to get back to life again. And it's like I couldn't wait to get home to see what was sprouting and to start going to the places around here and seeing people I haven't seen in such a long time. So I've not been, I got vaccinated as a kid. I'm not a flu shot person because I was allergic to the flu shot for years, so I never got in the habit. But I'm grateful for the vaccine, anyone associated with making it happen, and the fact that, I was able to travel and feel good. So what did I learn and what's my lesson for this little positivity with Marianne? I'm an aviation nut. I always wanted to fly. I ultimately did get a private pilot's license, and I did own a flight school, which some of you may already know. So I love aviation. I love to see planes. I like to watch TV shows about planes. And I'm usually up on the news about planes, but I got into my Southwest Airlines and I got my emergency row, which I like for the space, and I feel competent to handle an emergency. I hope I don't ever have to. I did have one flight where they told us that those of us in the emergency row, which I was, that we had a potential emergency brewing as it looked like our hydraulics may not be working. For those of you who don't know what the hydraulics do on the plane, it turns the plane. It's the brakes. It basically is the fluid that keeps everything moving. So if you don't have hydraulics, you're in trouble. But there's redundancy, there's backup systems. But they said to be careful. We're going to ask for the longest runway, and we're going to have the equipment ready. That means the fire trucks. And they started making sure everything was put away early, like they do that in the last, I don't know, when they get below 10,000 feet, they start to make sure everything is seat belts and tray tables up and all that kind of stuff. Well, in an emergency row, you want to make sure everything is pushed under the seat because if people need to get out, you don't want them tripping on something. And they came by and told us, we may need you to open the wing door and guide people out. So be ready. So I did have one flight where I was, I thought I might have to do something. But it turned out we did land long. We needed a lot of runway, and the emergency equipment did come up to us, but we landed safely, and thank God for backup systems. So anyway, so I'm a big, I love the emergency row for the comfort, and I figure if I can fly a plane, I should be able to handle an emergency, should one come up. So, I got myself all, settled. I had something to watch. I bought the Wi-Fi for $8 so I could watch the shows I had downloaded just in case it didn't work without Wi-Fi. And I was like, my biggest thing is I get bored. Not bored because I'm seldom that, but I don't like to sit still that long. So, I was all settled in. I'm like, okay, this is good. I've had anxiety before, and this year was certainly a year for that. But I felt like I had worked through all that. I was good. I was going home. And then all of a sudden, the flight attendant said, you are flying a 737 MAX 8. And I looked up, and in the seat back in front of me it said 737 MAX 8. And I looked around, and it said it in the seat back of every seat on the plane. And I went, 737 MAX 8? That's the one that crashed 2 years ago. That's the one that's been grounded for 2 years because there was a problem with the autopilot. And for a moment there, I was panicky, not full-blown anxiety attack, because I've had those. This is why I've learned a lot of these things, because I've had to deal with things myself. But I was like, I didn't know they were back in service. I would usually know this kind of thing. How come I don't know? La, 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 la. You know all the talk that goes on in your head. So then I took a deep breath with my mask on, and I thought, okay, let's logic your way through this. They're not going to put their pilots and flight crew on a plane that's not safe. And I actually went on my phone and looked up Southwest 737 MAX 8, and I looked at all the training they got. The training the FAA required, and I had a flight school, so the FAA is very good about getting you to do what they want you to do, or else they take your permit away. And it showed all the extra training that the pilots had to do because they were Southwest pilots. And I was like, okay, I'm good. We're taxiing. I'm like, okay, gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. We're going to be fine. And it was amazing how quickly that anxiety went down to, I can't say perfect calm, but it came down quite a few notches by taking the time to think about the logic of it all and not let the wildness of the imagination take off. And it turned out to be a lovely flight. And the MAX 8, the lighting is different in this version of the plane, and it makes it feel more spacious. And I don't know what it is, but it's good. And it's a more efficient plane because it's the newest plane out there. And then I had a little chat with one of the pilots on the way out, and I said, I'm a pilot myself, and how long is the MAX 8 been? He goes, well, we've been flying them for a couple of months now. And he says, this was my first flight on a MAX 8. And he goes, it's great to fly. And I was like, okay. So that's my lesson for this week. That's my positivity. I went 7 minutes. Yikes. Chatty. That's what happens when I start talking about aviation. But the point is that if something stressful is happening, something worrisome, take that deep breath and then try to get your logic involved and think out and knock out the uncertainties that are coming along. Like, oh my God, we're going to crash. It's going to be the beginning of the flight. Blah, 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 blah. No, they're not going to put their crew there. It's the one that did it. No, they put extra training, that kind of thing, which you probably do instinctively, but these are all about noticing the strategies that work and adding them to our little keys of success. So that's it for today. Like I said, it's been long enough. Maybe I'll edit out some of it with my aviation chatter. And I'll see you next time. Have yourself a great week. Bye.